Minecraft recently added a bunch of new copper blocks, but most importantly, the copper golem that can sort your resources. So today I want to build the ultimate storage room where I can store thousands of items and put an end to my messy chests, unless these little guys run away with my stuff. I keep all of my items right here in my starter house, but I've been running out of room very fast and had to resort to putting stuff in choco boxes. So I want to build something way bigger and more practical. But I don't want my starter house to lose its purpose as my storage house, so I want to build a giant storage room underneath it, so I still have to access it through this house, which means we're gonna have to dig out a giant space under here, and I don't want to slowly dig it out, so I want to get a beacon, which means we have to go to the nether. Because to craft a beacon, we need to summon the wither, so that means we have to go to a nether fortress and kill wither skeletons. And the last time I went to the nether didn't go so well.
Flashback.
No, I will die. I will die. No! Ah! Why?
End of flashback.
But I know it's going to be different this time. I hope. Yay! We're back in the nether! It's so great to be here. I made a really lovely and super safe path all the way to the nether fortress, so we just have to go there and not fall down there or die to these. Hello. I hate the nether. Oh, lovely. This is where I died last time. And here's the nether fortress. No! Let's fly down there. Hello, nether fortress. It's me. I'm back! Ooh, an empty chest. My gold pants broke. That's the worst. I'm wearing my diamond ones. Now we just have to find and unalive a bunch of wither skeletons until we get 3 of their skulls. And I have looting 3 on my sword, so this is hopefully gonna go fast. Okay, why is there lava floating? It shouldn't be like this. Cursed Minecraft. And look, there are the first wither skellies. Give me your skulls. No. I made this really lovely barrier, so every time they come to me, they cannot go across. So I slayed and almost got slain and found a chest with diamonds, which was pretty cool, and then continued the slaying of the skellies, found more loot and nether warts, which I don't think I've ever found before, and then I got beat up by blazes until I remembered I have a bow and then gave the blazes a taste of their own medicine. And then I slayed some more until finally, I got the first skull. Yes! Now we just need 2 more. Yay! Ah! No! The skelly hunting continued and my hatred for blazes deepened until I got another one. Now we just need 1 more. Then you guessed it, the slaying continued and I found this poor little skelly that was stuck, so I freed it and it chased me down the stairs and actually dropped the last skull, which was so cool. We have 3 skulls. We did it. Bye, nether. I never liked you anyway. I can see the portal. There's just this tiny cube in the way. Go away. Finally, we can see the sun again. No more nether for now. We got tons of blaze rods, diamonds, even a blaze head, and most importantly, the wither skeleton skulls. Now we just need a bunch of soul sand, and then we have to fight the wither. I'm not scared. And the easiest way to fight the wither is to just go down into my mine shaft. So we have this beautiful mining entrance right here, and we just go down. Oh my gosh, there's a slime! Whoa! I had no idea slimes could spawn down here in my mine. This is so cool. Now I have 40 slime balls, so let's keep them safe in my ender chest. And I think I'm just gonna pick this direction because we have this really long mine shaft already. Flying through a mine shaft is actually so funny. Now we're far enough away from my base to do any real damage to my builds underground. And then, yeah, let's just spawn the wither inside of here. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Ow. Hi, wither. Now just punch this guy over and over until it's dead. Just shoot the wall. Keep on shooting the wall. Don't mind me, my little hole here. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Yes. It's literally so easy to fight the wither in the mine. We got the nether star, and we also got this wither head. Rawr. I'm the wither. I died in 5 seconds. And you know what's even funnier? I think the wither blew up into a trial chamber because there are these tough brick blocks all the way up there. Hi, trial chamber. Oh yeah, that's a trial chamber. Oh, loot chest. Nice. Thank you very much. I'm gonna remember where that trial chamber is so we can loot it later. Oh, before I forget, I also have to write down the date where I killed the wither for the first time, so we can always see when we reached important milestones in this world. Now we can craft the beacon using obsidian and glass. Oh my gosh, we have it. We have the beacon. So now we can decorate our base and have a really nice lamp. Just kidding. We gotta use it to dig out a giant room underneath my house. And I think I want to have the entrance to my storage be in this room right here. So let's just dig straight down from over here. I dug all the way to down here, and now we just need to dig out a bigger room to fit the beacon, because the beacon has to sit on a giant 9x9 pyramid made of only iron blocks. I'm so glad I have an iron farm. 2.5 stacks of iron later, and we have this giant pyramid, so we need to place down the beacon in the middle. Why does it not light up? Beacon, why? I think it needs to see the sky to work, so we need to fly up here and not die. And then we just have to punch a hole into my starter house, and now it should work. Yes! Yay, we got the beacon! And now we can choose what we want the beacon to do for us. I want to get haste and then haste too. So we just have to give them an iron ingot. And... yes! We have it! Look at this, we have haste too. Why is this so cool? Also, I think my Minecraft broke because look, I didn't get the beacon advancement. Hello? Minecraft is mean. Anyway, let's just ignore that our Minecraft broke. And let's go and start digging out a giant room. And mining with the haste effect has to be the most satisfying thing ever in Minecraft. I often forget that things like the beacon exist in Minecraft because it's always such a grind to even get it. But I didn't let the nether stop me from getting it, and I'm so glad I have it now. And my pickaxe is almost broken, and I dug out this big room already. But this isn't even a third of the room done. We need to dig out so much more. Basically all the way down to the beacon. Oh dear. We gotta fly all the way to the stronghold because I have an enderman farm in the end, which is one of the most useful farms ever because I can just slay these tall men and instantly repair my tools. But just having one pickaxe won't last for the rest of the dig. So I grinded all the way to 50 levels so we can try and enchant some new pickaxes. Oh my gosh, why do I get a good one straight away? Okay, but will I get lucky again? No, I won't. Now we just need to get efficiency 5 on all of these. So let's fly over to Cherrytown where my villagers live and my librarians live up here, and I think one of them should sell efficiency 4. And then we can also get some mending. Now we just have to combine all of the books and the pickaxes in the anvil. So now I have 5 pickaxes I can use to dig out this hole, and the best part is not all of them are silk touch. So now I can also gather lots of cobblestone, which is really useful for me because I usually just have stone in my chests, and cobblestone is really good for texturing or making paths. I knew this was gonna be a lot of work, but I didn't think it would take as long as it did. 2 hours in and I was having the time of my life singing along to Minecraft parody songs because I'm cringe that way. Don't judge me. I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole. But 2 hours later, I was still mining with no end in sight, and I started to get super tired. But I didn't give up because I can't let a little bit of hole mining stop me from building my dream storage room. I mined out all of this, and I'm still not really done. Internal and external screaming. And look, we almost reached the beacon down there. This took so long, and I went through all of my pickaxes twice. And I didn't even pick up all of the resources, but I still filled all of the shulker boxes I own, and now we have so many things. So if we didn't need a bigger storage before, we definitely need one now. Let's craft some planks and then let's make a whole bunch of chests, because even though nothing is decorated yet, we can start by placing down some chests and figuring out the layout of the storage room. No way! I log in and now I randomly get the beacon advancement. Why is it working now, not before? That is so funny. But at least we have it now. And I also placed down a bunch of chests, so now we can finally load off all our messy inventory. And with that I also mean all of these shulker boxes. Ew, a spider spawned! And I basically emptied all of these shulker boxes into these chests, and they are so full of cobblestone and stone. And I really like setting up my chests like this, and I think it would be cool if we had them all over the wall, all around this hole. But for that, we're gonna have to actually decorate this hole first. So good that we emptied all of these shulker boxes because we're gonna need them. I want to build something really cool here, and for that I want to use a lot of copper. And first I was thinking to just oxidize all of the copper I own, but that was before my wither blew up the trial chamber. And they have waxed copper just lying around. And I never defeated a trial chamber in my world before, so we could have some fun with this. I grabbed a couple health potions that I found in the end, and these ominous bottles, which I get from pillagers. So now we just have to, fly back to the trial chamber. And I think this is it. Yeah, the trial chamber is up there. So now we just break in from down below. Minecraft trials. Whoa. I think before we steal all of the copper, let's set our spawn. Let's get my chest plate out. And then we gotta drink this ominous potion bottle thing. And now we just have to go and survive all of the monsters. Hi, trial chamber. Hi. No, it's spiders. Ew. I hate cave spiders. Gross. Tiny little things with their tiny little legs. Also, my armor is so good I'm barely taking damage. Look at me. Die. Perish in flames. Yay. I get 1 golden carrot. Are you actually kidding me? I hate cave spiders. Let's keep going. And wait, I just got a key from a pot. Seriously? No, not again. Die, you gross little creatures. Why? Why do I get 1 potato? We can use the key to unlock one of these. Under lock and key. Oh, yay, I get another potion! And Bane of Arthropods 1! My luck today is just the absolute worst. I take that back, there are diamonds in the barrel. And here's another big room, so let the fighting begin. It's skeletons, I hate skeletons. So I slayed the skellies and got more potatoes. Why? And then the breezes came, throwing all their wind at me. So I fought them, but at the same time tried to get a really difficult advancement. Because if you deflect the breeze wind charge back at them and kill them with it, you actually get a really rare advancement. So I had to try and it took ages, but then I actually did it. I got the advancement. We killed a breeze with a deflected breeze shot wind charge. And we also got this cool key as a reward, an ominous trial key. And one of these walls is up here. Let's add this. Are you kidding me? I've been scammed. But now that we've done a little bit of slaying, we can start dismantling this entire room before the spawners start spawning again because there is a cooldown. And we can gather all of these copper blocks because look, they're all waxed. And I think the coolest thing they have in these trial chambers are these copper light bulbs because they require blaze rods to craft. So naturally I don't like crafting those. But thanks to the trial chamber, I won't have to. A lot of mining later. I've got all of this copper already and I mined out this entire room. But now I want to keep going because I still have a bunch of this trial almond left. So I went to slay some more monsters and hope for good rewards. But of course it had to be poisonous cave spiders again, but this time mixed with breezes. So it was a really fun and challenging fight. Yay, I get one steak, but I also get one key. Oh yeah. And there's one last cave spider and we get a potato. Wait, and we have a breeze head? Oh, I'm a breeze. I have eyebrows. Let's use the key. Please give me something good. Emeralds. No! I've been scammed again. Joke's on you, trial chamber, because I'm gonna steal all of your copper. Tee-hee. I got another key. And yes! Finally, I got something cool. A cool smithing template. And also the breach enchant. If only we would get lucky and get the maze. But I'm not counting on it. Another big fighting room. And it's more spiders! At least I know my armor is good because I'm getting swarmed and I'm not dying. I get a potato again. And after I was done with the room, it looked like this. Yes! A banner pattern. Nah. Yes! Armor trim! I got the other one! And I think I spent over an hour in the trial chamber mining up all of this copper. So hopefully all of this is gonna be enough to build my storage room. And the best part is we slayed so much and we didn't even die. In my mining outpost, I have this wall of rare things I find in the mines. And we have to add a trial chamber one. And we also got all of this cool trial chamber loot. And my favorite ones are definitely the armor trims, the banner pattern, and the breeze head. Eyebrow noises. Then I spent some time emptying my choco boxes, creating an even bigger mess in my chest. And then I also sorted all of my waxed copper loot and crafted it into a bunch of different materials like stairs and slabs. I also wanted some different copper stages, so I did a lot of copper axing and then waxing. And then I saw somebody was watching me through the window, which was kind of creepy. But now we can start by building the storage modules. Also, these guys can spawn here. Hello? I mean, that's kind of cool because slime is kind of hard to get, but that also means they will jump scare me in my storage all the time. And look, the tiny ones don't even do damage. They're so adorable. Okay, now die. That was so sad. Let's make a little frame around each of these chest modules so we can have pillars of copper going up and then stairs and trapdoors holding them together. And also added these copper bulbs, and to turn them on we just have to flick a lever and then get rid of it. And now everything is bright so nothing creepy should spawn except the slimes. And now we just need to chop a bunch of wood, and I can use the haste beacon effect to do it way faster. This is actually so fast I cannot catch up with my axe. And needing all this wood got me thinking, should I make a tree farm in the future or is it not worth it? Let me know in the comments what you think. And now we have almost a whole shulker box full of spruce logs, so we just have to turn all of this into wood, and then we can craft tons of chests. And after sacrificing my precious spruce wood for my storage, it was time to actually build it up. And the funniest thing is that I crafted the exact amount of chests that I actually needed. Now we have chests everywhere that can store thousands of items. So anyway, my storage is done. Just kidding, we gotta decorate this entire room. And I want to build a beautiful copper golem base. And I want copper golems to work in this room, so we gotta make it look more at home for them by building giant copper golems. I'm scared. We already have tons of copper, but I also want to get some more texturing blocks like granite. And then we could also get some terracotta, but I only have 4. So why don't we quickly fly over to the mesa? Not that I have a mesa close to my base. 10 years later, and after flying through lots of acacia land, I finally found a super tiny mesa. That's just sand. Come on, Minecraft, please have more mesa. Yes! Okay, there's more. Seriously? There's just this tiny little bit? I'm just gonna steal all of this out of the walls. I took a stack and a little bit more, so I have some for the future, but I almost broke my good pickaxe, so we also quickly need to fly to the end. Also ignore that I was burning, a zombie got me. And a lot of enderman screaming noises later, and I repaired all of my pickaxes that were still almost broken from the big hole digging. Now there's just one thing we need to make the copper golem statues look really cool. A light block for the eyes. And for that I want to use a block that I've never ever used in survival before. I want to get froglights. I'm actually not entirely sure how to get them, but I think the first thing we need is frog frogs. And I can see 2 frogs. Hi, froggies. Come with me. Let's take them home to my base. Let's dig a little hole here next to my nether portal and let's put them inside. Wait, one just jumped out straight away. Okay, I'm so stupid. We also gotta cover up that hole. And I'm so glad we got so many slime balls because we can use them to breed the frogs. Wait, how do frogs breed? Wait, they need water. Make many frog babies. Yay, it worked. And while the tadpoles grow up, I'm also gonna collect more frogs in the swamp because we need to take them to the nether. I knew I'd have to go back there. And I'm just gonna prepare a little platform in the nether because we're gonna have to lure those big magma cubes to the frogs. I have a feeling this is going to be absolute chaos. And I AFK'd the frog pit and now we have so many frogs. And now we just have to bring the frogs to the nether. And hopefully they're gonna survive this. I just found one. Hello? Okay, number 2. Where's number 3? Please don't say number 3 is in there cooking. Yay, number 3 is up here. Okay, I made a platform up here and a little cage for the frogs. And the way I think we can get froglights is when my frogs eat the magma cubes. I waited until some small cubes spawn, so now they're over here. Oh my gosh, it's way too many. I think we need the super tiny ones. Frogs, come on, eat the cubes. Froggies, please, I'm gonna die. Frogs, please. Yes! Ah! That was still a big one. Come on. No, 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 my frog, my frog. I'm so sorry, little frog. I've got 16 of these beautiful yellow froglights. And now I just need one more stack. So I beat up a bunch more magma cubes and let the frogs eat them. And then brought even more frogs to the nether. And I also tried to improve my farming strategies. So I tied the frogs to a fence gate, which made it a lot easier because I didn't have to watch where the frogs were going. And I could focus on surviving the magma cube attacks because they were everywhere and they wanted to kill me. But my brave froggy friends protected me. And now we've got over a stack of froglights. And we only lost 2 frogs. One I accidentally burned. And the other one isn't really lost. It's more like stuck down there. You did this to yourself, little frog. But now let's leave the stinky nether behind. Also, there's a chicken. There's no escape from big slimy cubes. First in the nether, now in my storage room. Go away. Oh my gosh, I got 2 slime heads. Oh my gosh, I love this. I left some space in between the storage modules because I want to put a copper golem statue right in the middle of it. And it's going to be a really big one, so its feet are going to be made up of several blocks. And it's also going to have little toes. And also textured the legs with a bunch of weathered copper. And then we can go 1 block out and add the body of the golem on top. And the actual copper golem also has these lines that turn into a circle on its body. And I want to recreate that, but use froglights for it. So it's like the statue is alive and activated. I think this actually looks so cool. And now we can build the copper golem head. And I'm also going to make the eyes light up using froglights. And of course, we're going to have the big villager nose in the middle. And I'm really happy with this so far. And I also realized I gave it no arms. And there isn't really enough space to have them hanging down his side. So I'm going to have it hold out its arms to the side. And I also gave it little claw-like fingers. So don't get too close or they're going to pinch you. Now, one last thing is missing, and that's the antenna on top of the golem. I just fell down. And now the golem is basically done. And it was definitely worth it to get all of those froglights. Also, I totally didn't build the back of the golem. You saw nothing. I need to save copper because I need to build 3 more of these. I'm glad I dug such a big hole because those copper golems are massive and they're going almost all the way to the ceiling. And now we have golem statues all over the wall. Always watching, never leaving. And I just updated my game to the new update so we can actually have some copper golems in the game. I think all we need is a pumpkin and of course a block of copper. So we just put this here and this on top and then we just have to shear it. Yay! Weighted spot with a chest. He looks like my statues. That's so cool. Let's test this out. Let's put some pumpkins in this chest. And then we can also add some pumpkins to this chest. And let's see what the golem does. Oh my gosh, he opens the chest. He took the pumpkins. Is he putting them inside? Yes! I never have to sort my storage ever again. Now my little golem friend can do its thing because I need to do a lot more than build giant copper golems to decorate the storage. There's another block that I want to add to that build and that is tough, but I need 2 shulker boxes full of it. So we gotta go hit the mines again. And down here in my mines, I have 4 different rooms and I've already expanded one so I could go in several different directions. And this is themed after my subscriber milestones so I can always see when I gain what kind of subscribers. And I want to build another one of these themed rooms. Let's go for this one right across from the milestone room, but I want this room here to be flamingo themed. Now the walls are pink and I already added in the doors, and now we just need to add a ceiling and of course lots of lights so nothing spawns here. Well, except slimes, of course, they spawn everywhere. And then we can go and mine out some tuff out of the walls of my mine shaft because that's what we actually came here for. But I also want to use that tuff to decorate the floor of my new flamingo room, and added cherry blossom leaves in the ceiling, and we have the falling leaf effect in the room now. And one last thing I want to add to this room are my tier 3 channel members, because all my level 3 members get their name added to my Minecraft world. What they didn't know is that I'm gonna turn them into flamingos. I'm gonna make some leather armor, and then I'm gonna dye it pink, and then we can put that on the armor stand. And now we just need a head. And I have a data pack that when you die, you drop your head. So now I have become a flamingo. And now all I have to do is to unalive myself. I died. Now, where's the flamingo head? Yes, I got it. Look at this flamingo head. It's so cute. Now we have 3 flamingo heads, which we can add to the armor stand. And also have a data pack for changing her armor stand's look, so we could use this book. And then we could give them some cool poses. What is this pose? Maybe not that one. Okay, that one is cute. And I just discovered something super cool. We can display the name. So now it says armor stand. But what if we get some name tags? Oh my gosh, they're so expensive. Those villagers are scamming me. And then we can rename them to my channel members' names. Okay, let's see if this works. Add this. Yes! Oh my gosh! Wait, that is actually so cute. And I added all tier 3 members that I had so far. And I think this room is looking really cool. And thank you so much to my members. Also, I'm still a bird. But now that we have another beautiful mining room, we can get back to gathering lots of tuff, because we have a copper golem storage to build. And the best thing is when you uncover diamonds while mining out blocks. Oh yeah, even more diamonds. And an hour later, and we have 2 shulker boxes and a bit full of tuff. And I want to craft most of that tuff into tuff bricks. I think tuff and copper goes really well together, so we could have it all over the walls. And I also want to cover up the space behind the chests, because you can actually look through the chest a little bit, and I don't want to see a stone wall. I love adding those tiny little details to improve how my builds look, even though it took a really long time to mine all of this tuff. And I also want to cover the entire walls in tuff, so we can first bring up the tuff walls all the way to the golem arms. And then to break things up a little bit, we need to add some different elements. So I'm going to add a little band of copper going all the way into the corner, and there it's going to turn into a little circle again, just like the circle on the copper golems. And I think we need another light source inside of the circle, but I don't want to farm froglights again. No more nether. Okay, wait, but actually shroom lights will look really cool in here, I think. But I only had these. So more nether! Yay! Let's just fly over to these trees, and then I can use my hoe to break all of these blocks and then find these shroom lights. I plucked all the shroom lights out of the trees, and now let's get out of here before anything creeps on us. I'm literally so lost in the nether right now. Ah! Why did I fly into a wall? Okay, yeah, this is definitely not the way back home. Whoa! Oh, that scared me. That scared me so bad. Wait, I found it. Oh my gosh. Hi, frogs. No more nether. And the chicken is still there, judging me. And now we can go back to peaceful decorating in my storage room. It kind of looks like the copper golem statues are channeling some ancient magic. And I think I also want to add a different kind of block in there. And I was thinking maybe something brighter. Oh, somebody's in my house. Why are you here? This guy always wants to come over for movie night, but I'm busy. I need to build my storage. Let's add the pale wood under this copper ring. And I brought it all the way to the ceiling. And now it kind of looks like ancient copper industry meets futuristic technology. And I think I kind of like that, so let's get a bunch more stripped pale wood, and then let's keep building. And then we can also continue building up the wall using more tough bricks. And now we have really nice walls and some new slimes who want to be my friend. But these walls are looking super bare, so it's time to add a bunch of copper elements. And the copper update actually added some new decor pieces, so now we can craft cool things like copper bars. And also look, there's copper armor, and we can also make these cute little copper nuggets. And then we can make copper chains. To add to the whole industrial copper vibes, I want to have pipes made of copper coming out of the golem statues. And then from here, they can go all the way over to this white thing in the middle. And we can also attach the new copper bars to this. And I'm actually so excited for this. Look how cool this is. This is such a nice detail. And I put the light bulbs behind the copper trapdoors, and they actually look like vents. It's so cool. And I want to have these copper pipes on every single side, but I want every single one to be different. And I think I can achieve that by making some of them overgrown. So we need some moss. I have 4 moss blocks. And I don't really feel like going into the lush caves because I will die. So I'm just gonna do some moss mining in my storage room because I need to clear out this floor anyway, because we definitely need a better floor later on. And then I can use my efficiency 5 hoe to mine it all out super fast. Moss mining for the win. Let's also farm some azalea trees that I'm growing in my storage room because it's so big that I can. Then I also bone mealed some glowberries into existence. And now we can add all of the lush blocks around my copper pipe. I think it would also be super funny if we had moss moss growing inside of the pipes, so it's like leaking out already. And imagine we had an actual leak in the pipes. Let's hope I don't flood my entire storage room with this. Yes, water on the chests. Uh-oh. We definitely have to add something on top of that later. But look, we have water flowing down. I think that's so cool. And I think we can actually waterlog the copper grates. So it looks like the water is coming from the top, which would also tie into my world lore because it always rains in my world, especially when I want to build outside. And now I think this is looking really nice, but I also want to decorate the space under the copper golem's armpit. Why did I say armpit? So first up, we can add some pale wood slabs on top of the chests. And because they're slabs, we can still open the chests. This guy opened his chest so much that it fully oxidized. And on top of my storage, I want to add a cute little copper building. I'm gonna make it as detailed and symmetrical as possible using a bunch of stairs and trapdoors. And for some reason, this kind of gives warden vibes. It's like a copper warden. I'm scared, but it looks cool. And I turned one slab into a water source, so when I pour water down, it should go right into it and not spill everywhere. So now the water is going from the pipe down over the copper golem's arms and down onto the warden thing. Now the walls are looking really pretty, but it's just the problem of the ceiling. Ew. And I think I want it to be nice and bright too and also connect to those white pillars. And I just realized I used up all of my pale wood. So I'm gonna be here a while farming more. And I think I'm gonna turn all of these logs into planks because otherwise I would spend even more hours chopping trees. But first we're gonna have another ring of oxidized copper going all around this room. But I do have to dig out the walls a little bit more because I kind of reached the top of the room. And there was also lava here and I can actually look outside. That's so funny. Next to my house was actually this little lava pool, but now it's no more and my storage is right underneath. I don't know how, but adding this little line of copper made such a big difference. This looks so complete now. And I'm gonna add another ring of copper a little bit more inwards. And there's just a bunch of gravel constantly falling from the ceiling. And I tried to make it dome shaped and it kind of looks like a spider cobweb kind of pattern. So before I get scared, let's fill in the middle with all of the pale wood. Okay, but what if I also added a ring of these copper bulbs and then lit them up very, very slowly, one by one. And I started to hate using the levers, so I've just been using pressure plates and it's so cool. Okay, I think using those light bulbs was such a good decision because otherwise the ceiling would be super dark. And since I still have lots of copper bulbs left, we can do another of those rings. And I'm especially happy about that because I can do more pressure plate running and it's so fun. Okay, I love my new ceiling. And it perfectly lines up with the hole leading into my house. And I think we need to make the entrance to my storage a little bit wider too. Otherwise, I'm just gonna smack my head trying to fly out with my elytra. I think I'm gonna decorate it with more pale wood. Now we've got a nice entrance to the storage. And I also made it a little bit more overgrown by adding some leaves into the ceiling. And another thing we could do to decorate this place is if we get more copper golems, but this time I'm gonna use normal copper blocks and not the wax one because this one was waxed. He's a little wax guy. He's creepy. But if I summon some without being waxed, they will oxidize over time and become little statues. And then we could decorate this room with them. And while I wait for these little guys to oxidize, we can start working on the floor because this is just a mess of stone and holes. I think I want to have several floors, with the first one being this walkway alongside the chest. So let's first add a little wall out of copper. And I'm gonna leave some openings in the wall so we could later have a little staircase going down to this level here. Now we've got this really cool wall, but we still have to fill in the floor. And I was thinking, let's use more pale garden wood. I've kind of started to realize how cool copper and pale oak wood looks together. And I've been trying to do a really cool floor pattern of having the stripped wood go all around the sides and then fill in the rest with the planks. But even though I spammed tons of light blocks into the walls, the floor is kind of dark. And I still have a bunch of shroom lights, so we could add those in the floor and look, it's so much better. But I don't want to see those, so we gotta cover them up. And I want to use a bunch of white wool for that. And luckily we do have a sheep farm in our industrial town. Let's hope the chunks were loaded while it was in my storage. Yes, we got tons of it. Oh, and that also reminds me, I asked you guys in the comments to name my little industrial town where I have all of my little redstone farms. And you guys had a bunch of really cool suggestions. And so many of you said Rainy Town, because it always rains in my Minecraft world. And now the sign also says Rainy Town with a bunch of umbrella emojis. And we can also dye it light blue in rain color. And also notice the dye looks different now with the new update. And then we can also make it glow. Wait, that's the first time I made it glow. Yay for Rainy Town. And nay for the rain. And now we can craft a bunch of white carpet to then cover up all of these shroom lights. Now we just have this really cool white strip in the middle and it's super bright. I still need to do the 3 other sides though, and I'm kinda out of shroom lights. One excruciatingly painful and annoying nether trip later. And now we can continue our peaceful building. Now everything is lit up and looking really cool, except for this enderman who just ruined the moment. And now we just have to work on this middle part here. Let's first dig it out all the way down to where the beacon is. And I want to have a staircase coming down, so let's make some pale oak stairs. And then we can add them on every single side. And then we can add a copper railing on the sides of the stairs. And we also got to continue these pillars of the copper railings all the way to down here, and then all the empty spaces in between can be tough bricks again. I also turned it into really cool copper arches again, and I think in the future if I need even more storage, I could break the walls here and just add a bunch more chests. But for now I think all of these will be enough. I also want to make the place a little bit more brighter, but not with those torches, because now we have new copper light sources. Now we can make a copper torch, and look, they're green. What the heck? That is so cool. I want to have some in my house. But even cooler, we can make copper lanterns. And also just realized copper trapdoors are now way cheaper. There used to be 6 of these, but now those make the copper bars. Now instead of the torches, we can have a copper trapdoor, a copper chain, and the copper lantern. Oh yeah. And I think they also oxidize over time, so maybe the lanterns are actually gonna change color. I also added the lanterns on the stairs, so now it's looking super bright. Now we just need to connect every staircase to each other in this little circle. So now we have a nice platform to walk on. And I also want to have some steps going down here to this potential new storage area for the future, because instead of just leaving it empty, I want to decorate it instead. And I have a huge amount of stone and cobblestone from digging out this entire room, and I'm gonna use all of those blocks in combination with moss for the floor. I made it super overgrown, and also added some stairs into the floor so it looks like it's a little bit broken, and we can add some water inside of it. And look, my copper lanterns have started to oxidize, they're turning green. And also just had a fun idea for where to put copper armor, so let's craft it. And I also kind of want to try it on first. Now I can fully blend into my storage room. But since I have fully enchanted diamond armor, this isn't for me to wear. I want to display it, and I have this little pond with this block in the middle, so we could add this on top and then put the copper armor on the armor stand. And now this is a bit more decorated, and I think I really like the copper armor. Now we just have this part here in the middle to decorate, so I think it's time to get rid of the beacon. It was so helpful to have it to dig out this room, but now all of the digging is finally over. And I'm gonna put the beacon in a shulker box, because I have a feeling there are gonna be a lot more digging projects in the future. And where the beacon was, I'm gonna put a giant pond. I think that would only make sense since we have a bunch of water features in our base already. And I flew all the way to a coral reef, and I gathered a bunch of sea pickles. And I was thinking maybe I should also catch some tropical fish for my pond. But not this guy though, he's evil. And now let's get out of here before we get poked by a pufferfish. This is what my pond looks so far, so now we just need to add in all of the water. And we also have some soul sand in there so we get some nice bubbles like it's a hot spring. And to make it brighter, we can now add all of the sea pickles. And we also got 4 different kinds of tropical fish, and we can add all of them into this pond. And I hope they're gonna survive, because they're doing this already. Please don't. Let's see how many days they're gonna survive. I bet they're not even gonna last 5 minutes. I think the pond is still looking a bit random, surrounded by all of this copper. So I brought all the copper grades in different oxidization stages, and I can see my fish doing really stupid things. And the 5 minutes aren't even up yet. No! No one died! Anyway, we totally have fish in this pond. Let's ignore those fish and make a little gradient bridge out of these copper grades. And now we have this really cool walkway, and one fish is still alive for now. And with this pond being done, that means the room is fully decorated, and I can officially move all of my things into the storage room, which means I'm gonna have to label all of these chests and sort all of my items. But luckily my copper golems are gonna help me with that, and we can start bringing all of this mess over. And because I love my new storage so much, I actually had such a fun time sorting all of my items and labeling my chests, and the golems were actually a huge help, and it was really fun to work with them. And a couple hours later, and everything is sorted. We got chests for each of the wood types, and of course all of the natural blocks, and it's totally sorted on the inside. I blame the copper golems. And then we have all the ores and stony blocks over here, and the other sides have a bunch of miscellaneous blocks, but there's also still a lot of empty space, so Minecraft can add as many new blocks as they want. I will always have space for them. And also change a lot up here in my OG storage room, because now I kept all of the rocket supplies up here because I'm always gonna need them, and also the food, plus a bunch of random mob heads and shulker boxes, so I don't always have to drop down into this hole to get them. But the new update also added these shelves, so let's craft some of these. And they look so cool. I could actually use them as a trim in my house. But for now I think I actually want to use them, because there are a bunch of things that I sometimes just quickly need to grab, buckets or leads or shears, so I can just go boop and take them. And I also added another shelf on the other side, so now we have 2. And I think they're actually super cool, not just for having quick access to items, but also for building. And I've also been waiting for my copper golems to oxidize so I can use them as statues, but only one has even started to oxidize, and the chests and the lanterns have fully oxidized in that time. And then I realized I did a very bad brain moment, because I can just take the oxidized copper, and then maybe we can make golems out of those. Let's try it. Yes! Okay, is it gonna turn into a statue? Yes! Wait, whoa! Hello? I can click on him! That's creepy. So let's mine this little guy. So now he's in my inventory. That's super creepy. And then we could have him sit right here. Yay! That's so cute. I made a bunch more copper golems and waited for them to turn into statues and then added them all over the storage room. And I think I can also axe them and they won't turn back into a golem. So now everywhere you look, there is a copper golem statue. I even added them on lightning rods in here, which looks kinda cursed. And then there's also one hanging from the copper pipe. And then of course I had to do something creepy and sinister. But I think my absolute favorite is the one dancing on top of the big golem. It's so cute. And I think it's also kind of creepy that inside every single statue there's a copper golem soul trapped forever. But of course we also still have a bunch of living copper golems roaming around. So let me know in the comments if you have any name suggestions for these little guys. It took over 100 in-game days to build this storage room. So if you enjoyed it, give the video a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you next time. Bye!